Mr. James, I want to say something to you tonight. It's not only you alone fed up with Ralph. I think about 75% of this country fed up with Ralph long time. President of the New Democratic Party, Godwin Friday, Dr. Godwin Friday, Sir James, Vice President, Mr. Leacock, and Patel Matthews. We also have Senator Bruce here with us. We also have candidate Ben. I would like to say also good night to the PRO and to the GenSec and to all here in this hall tonight. Your presence here says one thing. It's not that you are going to back down from anybody, but you are going to make sure that the New Democratic Party would once again form government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The reason why that is going to happen is because the ULP has failed Vincentian time and time again. They have made promises which they have failed to deliver. I mean, when you walk in every constituency, you can see the dismal failure of this administration. And don't talk about in the Grenadines. I often say they are treating us as if we are bastard, as some kind of stepchildren, and we are fed up of this wicked administration who bringing punishment on the people in the Grenadines. Not only the Grenadines, but all over this country. We are fed up. Enough is enough, and it's time to make the change, and we have to make sure that change comes. To all the adults in the audience tonight, I want to say to you, I am saying to you, you have your young kids who may not know of the history of the New Democratic Party, and we are relying on you to say to the young people of this country and in this constituency to give them that history of the New Democratic Party and all the wonderful works that they have done for this constituency and this country. It is important that you educate your children and not to make them go astray. You know, I'm going straight to constituency matters. The government said that after the airport, that there will be no bad roads in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We know the roads are bad long before that. And people of Bequia, I'm saying to you, especially those who live on the south side, that anytime you pass Bluff Road, a Bluff corner, you should know that the ULP deserves more votes in Bequia. Whoever running here supposed to lose their deposit. They're supposed to lose their deposit in Bequia because it is a burning shame. Man, when I travel on that road going down to south side, I can't believe that in this day and age that you could have people living under such conditions. And it's not only in Bequia. When you go to the southern Grenadines, it gets even worse. When you look at Barbro's Village Road, throughout Kiana on the roads there, in my road it is bad. Let me tell you something. Dr. Friday asked us to give him a list of all the roads in our constituency. We did. One of the roads was Bajan Corner in Union Island. They did this from Bajan Corner to Cross Road. You know what they did? It's a long road, but hear what? Because we mentioned Bajan Corner and Cross Road, they went and fixed a little piece of Bajan Corner, then they go down to Cross Road to fix another little piece, and all the rest in the middle, they leave it out, trying to fool us and make us think that we are stupid and they're wise. But we have news for them. You could patch here. You could patch there. We know of your dismal failure. We are not accepting it. It's time for you to go. It's time for a change. You want to come at election time and try to hoodwink us? We are 911. What development came to the port in Bequia? You have any major development taking place there? The only thing ULP did, where the port was concerned, and I'm going to remind you, they tried to impose a $1 tax on us and anybody coming to the Grenadines. And you should never forget that. You should never forget that. Because they fixed the port in Cameroon. Censor Beach was responsible for seaports. I have been bringing up the issue of the Cameroon Wharf. If you see the condition, they stop the boat captain and say, if you use that wharf, anything happen, the responsibility is on you. They build a temporary wharf. I want to know how long something must be temporary. Because it's close to 10 years now and we still have a temporary wharf. When it's rainy, it's muddy. You have to play hopscotch across the wharf to get to the boat. Pools of water and mud. When it's dry, it's very dusty. And sometimes you have to turn your back and cover your face like an Arab to get to the boat. That is how they are treating us. In Maro, there's the landing platform, which is damaged so bad. A couple people escaped serious injuries there. The Maro people got funding, and the people decided to help them. Somebody from the group decided to call Port Authority. Port Authority stopped the work, said do not touch it. And up to now, months gone, Port Authority said they will fix it, but the wharf is in the same condition. Ladies, children, men, everybody have to be so careful while crossing there because they're going to injure themselves. So you don't really care about the people of the Grenadines. You don't care. Because if you were a caring government, the things that affect the daily lives of people in the Grenadines, you will make sure that you fix it. And the mere fact that you are not fixing it said to me, and it should say to you, that this government really don't care a thing about it. When I got the same road going down to Southside, and I reached down by the airport, when I was a teacher and they were building that airport, I came up with a class from my school with another foreign teacher, with students from all the other schools, and we visited that project, and it was a lovely project. It is a shame now. When you go down there and you watch at the Bequia Airport, named after a stalwart in this country, and you want to know if that is how you have a port of entry. When people come here and they look at that airport, they probably want to say, well, if I reach here for the first time, and this is what I have to enter and exit, could you imagine, would I want to go any further? And it doesn't stop there. The Union Island Airport also, could you imagine, you walking there as a cleaner, visitors come, when they go in and use the washrooms, and they come out, buckets line up outside, and the cleaners have to go and take that bucket of water to clean the washrooms. Oh God, it's a burning shame. I am sure the donors, when they go to that airport, they are ashamed of what that airport has done. But bigger than that, you know what has happened? You notice that anything that was built by the New Democratic Party, do you believe in the water ruins? Anything of significance that was built by the New Democratic Party, the ULP, they are leaving it to go to ruins. Young people, they talk about the unemployment rate among young people, which is at 46%, almost 50%. You know what that is saying to you? Even the students who graduated this year, it says to me that half of you will not find no form of employment in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That is what the figure is saying. I will repeat that half of the students who graduate, and and it's not my figures. It came from the IMF. Half of you who graduated this year, you are not going to find employment under a ULP government. They have failed you. But I have news to you, in that the New Democratic Party, when we listen to CARICOM and what they have put in place, is that we are going to make sure that skills training are offered at secondary schools. Any level of skill that you can take off, we develop the manual, and to make sure you're not only leaving school with your 8, 9, 10 subjects, but you will have 1 or 2 skills to go with it. And it is stated that level 1 and 2 will be offered at secondary schools. So when you leave there with your skill, you can go straight to the technical college and continue your learning. So you make sure you have a skill. But the skill will not only be done at school, it is linked to on-the-job training. So let's say you have interest in the hospitality industry. While doing your training at secondary school, it will be linked to a major hotel on the island, so they will also see what you can do, and at the end of the day, some of the same people will take you because they realize that you have performed. That is what the New Democratic Party will do for the youths in this country. When we talk about jobs, and more jobs, we are meaning to work for you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Apart from the roads, you realize that, and the docks. Let me come back to the docks, because when they come to the dock, we are going to make sure that we have terminal buildings at each island. Canawan, Myro, Union Island, and Bequia. And these terminal buildings, not just so you to go and shelter in, within the terminal buildings, you're going to have small boutiques and shops, people who have the equipment to be entrepreneurs and who have the skills to do craft and all these things. You will be given the opportunity to earn your livelihood at these docks. These docks should become a major economic harbor for people within St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Okay? So we are planning to make sure that you have a better future when the New Democratic Party is elected into government. Every dry season, you hear the woes and the cries of the people in the Grenadines, especially down further south. I know the NDP, they have built cisterns. They went about to build small tanks for the poor and the vulnerable. And since we did that and they built the small tanks for the poor people, you have nothing else after that 21 years of nothingness by the ULP. But this NDP administration will make sure that they set up desalination plants in each of the islands so that we give you the opportunity to have water supplies throughout the year. And it is also good for the businesses, the hotels, the restaurants. We are going to make sure that you have water in order to keep your business going. So no longer would we hear the cries of the people. Could you imagine in my room, people almost had to get on their knees to get a bucket of water from CWSA. That is not good enough. And the waterman, Daniel Cummins, assured me, Terrance, as long as we win, the people in the Grenadines will have no water woes and no water worries again because of a New Democratic Party. Myro, you know, I don't know how many people ever went to Myro. It's just as beautiful as Bequia, right? You know, if you go to Myro and you walk with a certain amount of cash, when that finish, and you want to buy something else, that's it. You either have to go over to Union and fetch Canawan to get money. That's it. Could you imagine how a tourist will feel? Coming to Myro, You know these days they don't want to walk with no big set of cash. But you have your little card. And you're looking for an ATM, a little bank outlet, and there is nothing. So when they have to go to Union, or they have to go to Canada to find banking, you think they're going back to Myro? So that's it for the people of Myro. The economic activity done. But this representative, under a new Democratic Party government, will make sure there's a bank outlet in Myro, and that you also have an ATM machine to solve the needs of the people. You know how many tourists go to Myro? The tourist ship go ashore. And then some people complain, but they're not buying anything. But they ask some people for the ATM and the bank outlet. So the people of Myro are suffering. Their tourism not growing because you don't have the incentives and the facilities that is necessary for them to grow. And a new Democratic Party government will change that. I want to ask you a question. How many of you, especially the poor, ever applied for lumber and galvanized? Everybody. Did you get? No. Did you get? No. People not hearing you. Did you get any? No. And you know why? You may not have had a party card. Sometimes I know that when the grenadines, the lumber come through in the night. And then they share it away in the night. You visit the poor and the vulnerable people. When you look at the roof, when you look at the houses in which you live, and you ask yourself, how can people who would have served their country so much and so hard live in this way? The New Democratic Party, we have a plan for the poor and the vulnerable. With the materials, through the material program, we are going to send people to assess your homes. The aged, the poor, and the vulnerable. They will make the estimation of what is needed. And then we will have people working to go and fix your problem to make sure your homes are comfortable. Isn't that good enough for you? That is under a New Democratic Party government. Because when you look at what is happening now, sometimes the poor, a couple of them may get a few sheets of galvanized or some lumber. But they don't have the money to pay anybody to fix anything. So it's either the cement get hard, or they sell it, the galvanized and the lumber, and they remain in the same situation at the beginning. We don't want you to remain like that. We care for you, and we are about building a better nation. We are a caring party. And if we can't help you, then what is the use for us being in government? Our will is to commit ourselves to you, to serve you, to make sure that you have a better living standard. And that is what the New Democratic Party is all about. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are other plans of the New Democratic Party. One thing I want to say to you, last election when we bring out our manifesto, the other party, you couldn't see theirs. And after the manifesto came out, about half the thing with our, what was in our manifesto, end up in theirs. And you go on the computer and you use this thing to change a little word there and a little word there. They do that because they have been thieving the ideas of the New Democratic Party long time. They are bankrupt of ideas. I see even now they're using our songs. There are some of the candidates go about and repeating the same things that the candidate of the New Democratic Party I said. But I want to ask you one last question before I go. If after 5 years they couldn't do it, after 10 years they didn't do it, after 15 years they couldn't do it, 19 years and they still can't do it, you depend on them to do it again? You depend on them to do it again? So I am advising you, they have failed us. All the ideas, and we could name them all from one to the other, that they said that And it's time for a change in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's time for them to go. Enough is enough. Vote for Dr. Friday, the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Vote for the Dean. We have a dynamic team of youth and experience. Bring us on. Let us get St. Vincent working for each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Shout out here. If you want the country to prosper and you want to work for $1,
I promise that I'm going to fix the promise that I promise you since I promise you. That is their campaign. If you listen carefully, ladies and gentlemen, is a promise that I'm going to promise to fix the promise that I promise you since I promised you. That's basically what they've been doing. Let me tell you something. Since I was in secondary school, I have been actively involved in the performing arts. I started out in the Emmanuel High School theater group, went on and performed representing Emmanuel High School at the Peace Memorial Hall in Kingston. How many of you